Quarterback Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are in town to face the Baltimore Ravens for Thursday Night Football. To neutralize Burrow and the stellar Bengals pass game, the Ravens should rely on running back Derrick Henry to both lead the offensive attack and milk the game clock. The 6'3" Ravens cannot afford another hiccup in Week 10, especially versus an AFC North foe. Currently sitting behind the Pittsburgh Steelers in the division standings, the Ravens need to put their foot down in primetime, and the entire world will be watching. In Week 8, Henry was limited to just 11 carries, and the Ravens lost 24-29 to the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens have 3 losses on their season record, and only one of those opponents is currently in playoff contention. Nevertheless, all hope is not lost as offensive coordinator Todd Monken keeps Henry well fed in tonight's attack. Henry's 23 carries for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns were complete staples to the Ravens' 41-10 victory over the Denver Broncos last Sunday. Sure, quarterback Lamar Jackson had a great outing, but it's time the Ravens stopped pretending that Henry was just an added commodity and focused on making him the primary option on offense. Ultimately, if the Ravens get into a shootout against the Bengals as they did in Week 5, favor might not grant them the last-minute victory like last time. Thus, the Ravens must stay ahead of schedule and feed Henry the ball. We don't think too much of the Colts. They're 4-5 this season. But against the spread, they've been one of the NFL's best teams at an impressive 7-2. Only 2 teams, the Detroit Lions and Washington Commanders, have a better record against the spread this season, according to the Action Network. They are the only team in the NFL with a losing record that is also at least 2 games over .5 against the spread. It's a weird Colts season from a betting angle. They might not be very good, but bettors should like them. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow stalked around the sideline last Sunday and was ornery after throwing 5 touchdowns in a win. And there had to be a reason. He understands that Thursday night at the Baltimore Ravens might be a crossroads game for the Bengals season. The 4-5 Bengals are going to need to pull an upset or 2 to make the playoffs, and they're a 6-point underdog at Baltimore. There are reasons to believe the Bengals can at least keep it close. Burrow is playing well, and the Ravens' weakness is their pass defense. Cincinnati should have won the first meeting in perhaps the best game of the first half of this NFL season back in Week 5. But a botched hold on a field goal attempt in overtime led to a 41-38 Ravens win. Baltimore is tough to slow down, but the Bengals can score with them. The NFL pushes its international games, but it needs to give other countries better matchups. Does anyone think they're luring in new fans with New York Giants versus Carolina Panthers in Germany on Sunday morning? Woof. The Giants are 6.5-point favorites for the early game, and that seems a bit high considering neither team is good. If Daniel Jones can't have a big game against this Panthers defense, maybe it really is time for the Giants to make a QB change. Football fanatics will watch any 2 teams, but this game will test that. The NFL needs to take a little better care in how it schedules some games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't be pleased. They played on the road Monday night, then come home to face a San Francisco 49ers team that had a bye last week. That's simply not good enough by NFL schedule makers. The 49ers, who might have Christian McCaffrey back, are 6-point favorites. That relatively large line indicates odds makers have taken into account the rest disparity for the Bucs in this game. It's a tough spot for them to be in.